Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CINCILINGUA membership program. My name is Todd, and it's great to have you with me here for our lesson video today. Today, in this lesson video, we are going to be continuing with our series that we have dedicated to vocabulary related to making and keeping medical appointments. And this is lesson 4 in our series. Again, we are going to be talking about vocabulary in the area of making and keeping medical appointments. And this reminds me of a joke. Okay, there was a we call it a pre-med student. So this student is studying medicine, and he's in the classroom, and the professor is teaching a pretty complicated concept in the area of physics. And the student was a little confused by the explanations of this physics concept that the professor was giving, and the student says, why do we have to learn this? Why do we have to learn this? And the professor answered, to save lives, to save lives. And he continued with his explanation. And the student raises his hand, says, Professor, how does physics save lives? Professor waits. He looks at the student, doesn't respond immediately, but eventually he says, physics saves lives by keeping the idiots out of medical school. Okay, everybody can laugh at that. All right, now we're going to move on here to our first vocabulary word that is related to keeping and making medical appointments, and this word is consumer. Consumer, and basically, a consumer is a person who uses a product or service. A person who uses a product or service. A consumer is a customer, or perhaps a client, a customer or a client. And here we have an example sentence. Consumers buy and use products such as aspirin, cough syrup, and bandages. Customers go into their local stores and buy these items. Okay, consumers buy and use products such as aspirin, cough syrup, and bandages. Customers go into their local stores and buy these items. All right, so that's consumer. Now we go in to this word copay. Copay is short for copayment, is really what it is. Okay, copay, and it refers to, or it means, the patient's share of the cost of the doctor's appointment. Okay, so there are certain insurance policies, and the insurance will cover part of the cost of a doctor's visit, but the patient will pay a certain amount, and that certain amount is called a copay. Okay, so again, a copay is the patient's share of the cost of the doctor's appointment. Our example will show this more clearly, perhaps. My insurance has a very low copay. I only have to pay $25 to see the doctor. My insurance company pays the rest. Okay. My insurance has a very low copay. I only have to pay $25 to see the doctor. My insurance company pays the rest. All right, so that's copay, copayment. Now we have diagnosis. Diagnosis is the noun. The related verb is to diagnose, but we have the noun here. And a diagnosis refers to a decision about what is wrong or what the medical problem is. Okay, so the professional gives a name to the problem. Okay, and that name of the problem is the official diagnosis. Okay, so again, a diagnosis refers to the decision about what is wrong or what the medical problem is. Okay. Example, the doctor said that the diagnosis was heartburn. That's the medical problem I have been feeling in my chest. The doctor said that the diagnosis was heartburn. That's the medical problem I have been feeling in my chest. Okay, diagnosis. Now we have this expression, verbal expression, to do your homework, to do your homework. If somebody says, do your homework, they're telling you to prepare, to get ready. Okay, to prepare, to get ready. Example, do your homework before choosing a physician. Ask for recommendations from friends and check reviews on the internet. Prepare before making a decision. Okay. Do your homework before choosing a physician. Ask for recommendations from friends and check reviews on the internet. Prepare before making a decision. Okay. Do your homework. The examination room. The examination room is that room where the doctor looks at and talks to you about your medical issues. Okay, that's called the examination room, the room where the doctor looks at and talks to you about your medical issues. Example, the pediatrician performs annual checkups in the examination room. He looks at his patients and asks them about any concerns. The pediatrician performs annual checkups in the examination room. He looks at his patients and asks them about any concerns. Okay, examination room. All right, so yeah, in this lesson video, we have looked at 5 vocabulary words and phrases related to keeping and making medical appointments. We started with the word consumer, which basically refers to a person who purchases a product, an item, or maybe a service. Okay, it's a consumer is a customer or a client. Okay, that's a consumer. Copay, it's a little short for co-payment. This refers to the share or the part that the patient pays for example, for an office visit to a doctor or perhaps for medication, whereas the insurance pays the other part. Okay, so the insurance that the patient has pays usually the majority, and the patient pays a certain amount. That part that the patient pays is called the copay. Okay. Then we have diagnosis. Diagnosis is the noun related to the verb to diagnose. The diagnosis refers to that decision that the doctor or other medical professional makes concerning somebody's disease or medical condition. He gives a name, he or she gives a name to that medical condition, so according to the symptoms that are being manifested, and he says, okay, this is the diagnosis. This is what the condition is. And then to do your homework basically means to prepare, to get ready. Okay, to do your homework and to do your research in advance. Okay, that's the idea there. And then we looked at the examination room. The examination room is the room where you go in and the doctor or the nurse talks to you about your medical condition or your medical concerns, etc. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this lesson video. Before leaving you, I want to wish you a wonderful remainder of your day. And I want to thank you again for joining me here in this lesson video. It's great to have you here with me participating in the lesson here. And again, my name is Todd, and I will be looking forward to continuing to work with you as we continue our series. And of course, we will have other series and a lot of other content in the program here. So on that, I'm signing off from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I will look forward to catching you next time. Thank you again. Bye-bye.